know about CJ 3, bro. Let's go. 3 shit. 1, 2. Am I finna kill her? I'm waiting for the people to come trying to live forever. Trying to make my son go. Yeah. You think I went on live for the play and spell?
For most of history, murderers tried to hide their crimes. They buried evidence. They fled the scene. They hoped no one would ever discover what they'd done. But the rise of social media changed everything. For some reason that still baffles investigators, some criminals have chosen to do the exact opposite. They turn on a camera, they hit the live stream button, and they allow complete strangers to watch as lives were destroyed in real time. Sometimes viewers thought it was a prank. Sometimes they assumed it was staged. And sometimes they desperately tried to report what they were seeing while the crime was still unfolding. These are cases where violence wasn't hidden from the world, it was shared with it. And in some cases, the recordings became the most damning evidence investigators would ever need. Horrifying crimes caught live on social media. On April 18th in 2022, many Facebook users scrolling through their feed came across a livestream that looked wrong from the very beginning. The man on camera appeared agitated, disoriented, and angry. Viewers realized they weren't watching an argument. They were witnessing a murder. The victim was 34-year-old Janice David of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. According to investigators, the suspect, Earl Lee Johnson Jr., live-streamed a prolonged attack that lasted roughly 15 minutes. The video showed David being beaten, stabbed, and tortured while viewers watched in horror. Authorities later said the attack was broadcasted on social media before the victim's body was recovered. What makes this case especially disturbing is the police only learned about the crime after someone watching the live stream reported it. Facebook then contacted authorities. By the time deputies located the vehicle where David had been left, it was already too late. Investigators found her body inside a car, and Johnson was later charged with first-degree murder. During later court proceedings, prosecutors argued that Johnson wanted the world to witness what he was doing. The livestream itself became some of the most powerful evidence presented in the case. A jury ultimately convicted him of first-degree murder years later. It's difficult to imagine what those viewers experienced, logging onto Facebook expecting funny videos or family updates, only to become a witness to a homicide unfolding in real time. In a small community in Manitoba, Canada, a horrifying act of violence unfolded in front of an audience. And for many people who witnessed it, the images would be impossible to forget. 19-year-old Serena McKay was known by friends and family as a caring young woman with a bright personality and a contagious laugh. She had her whole life ahead of her. But on the night of April 22, 2017, that future was stolen from her in a brutal attack that would later make international headlines. The events began during a gathering in the community of Saugeen First Nation. Witnesses later reported that alcohol had been consumed throughout the evening, and tensions among several people began to rise. At some point, an argument broke out involving Serena and 2 teenage girls. What started as a confrontation quickly escalated into violence. Someone then began broadcasting portions of the assault live on Facebook. As viewers joined the live stream, they were confronted with a shocking scene. Serena could be seen sitting on the ground while being verbally abused and physically attacked. Throughout the video, she appeared frightened, confused, and increasingly unable to defend herself. One of the most disturbing aspects of the footage was Serena's demeanor. Rather than fighting back, she repeatedly apologized and attempted to calm the situation. Viewers watched as the assault continued. Some begged those involved to stop. Others attempted to report the live stream. Many simply stared in disbelief, unsure whether what they were seeing was real. Unfortunately, it was. The attack continued after the live stream ended. Hours later, Serena McKay was found dead. An autopsy later determined that she had suffered extensive injuries consistent with the severe beating. As investigators pieced together the events of that night, the Facebook Live video became a critical piece of evidence. The footage provided investigators with a disturbing glimpse into Serena's final hours and helped establish what had happened during the attack. News of the murder spread rapidly throughout Canada. For many people, this was one of the first major cases of demonstrating the terrifying potential of social media live streaming. Never before had so many people been able to witness a violent crime while it was actively occurring. The public response was immediate. People questioned why the live stream remained available long enough to be viewed by numerous users. Others wondered whether social media companies had adequate systems in place to detect and remove violent content before tragedy struck. The case also sparked conversation about bystander responsibility. If someone witnesses a violent crime online, what should they do? Who should they contact? And how quickly can authorities respond when evidence is appearing on thousands of screens simultaneously? Those questions became central to discussions surrounding the case. In the months that followed, the two teenage attackers were prosecuted through the Canadian justice system. But because they were minors at the time of the crime, their identities were protected under Canadian law. Both were ultimately found guilty on their roles in Serena's death. For Serena's family, however, no verdict could undo what had happened. Their daughter, sister, and friend was gone, and the final moments of her life had been witnessed by strangers across the internet. Serena McKay's murder remains one of the most disturbing crimes ever connected to Facebook Live. Not only because of the violence itself, but because it exposed a reality a few people had considered before. The internet doesn't just allow people to share their lives. Sometimes it allows the world to watch a tragedy unfold in real time. And for those who saw Serena's final hours on that live stream, it's a memory that many say they'll never escape.
Can you do me a favor? Can you say Joy Lane? Can you say Joy Lane? Joy Lane? Yeah. She's the reason why this is about to happen to you. How old are you? Oh, man, look. Hey, look, I don't know.
By 2017, Facebook Live had been one of the most fastest growing features on social media. Millions of people used it every day to share family gatherings, road trips, celebrations, and everyday moments. Few could have imagined that it would soon become connected to one of the most infamous crimes in internet history. On the afternoon of April 16, 2017, residents of Cleveland, Ohio were enjoying Easter Sunday. Families gathered for dinner, children hunted for Easter eggs, and 64-year-old Robert Godwin Sr. was simply walking down the street. Godwin was a retired foundry worker and father of 10. Friends and family described him as a kind, hard-working man who was known for helping others whenever he could. There was nothing unusual about his day, nothing to suggest that within minutes his name would become known around the world. At roughly the same time, a man named Steve Stevens was driving through Cleveland. According to investigators, Stevens had become increasingly distressed over financial problems, gambling losses, and the collapse of a long-term relationship. At some point, he made the decision that would shock the nation. Stevens began recording videos and posting them to Facebook. In several videos, he made bizarre claims and spoke about his personal problems. He also stated that he intended to kill someone. Many people saw the post didn't know whether he was serious. Some assumed it was an attention-seeking stunt. Others never saw the videos at all. Then Stevens spotted Robert Godwin walking alone. What happened next would be captured on video. Stevens pulled his vehicle over and approached the unsuspecting man. The brief interaction appeared confusing and random. Godwin had never met Stevens. The two men were complete strangers. After a short exchange, Stevens shot Godwin and killed him. The video was later uploaded to Facebook, where it quickly spread across the internet before being removed. One detail often gets reported incorrectly. Many people still refer to the incident as a Facebook Live murder. However, Facebook later clarified that the killing itself was not live streamed. Instead, the video was recorded and uploaded after the shooting had already occurred. That distinction doesn't make the crime any less horrifying. Within hours, authorities launched a nationwide manhunt. News organizations around the country interrupted normal programming to report on the case. Police warned the public not to approach Stevens if spotted. Meanwhile, thousands of people shared photos, tips, and information online. For nearly 2 days, Stevens managed to evade capture. The search stretched across multiple states. Every reported sighting generated new headlines. Every hour that passed increased fears that another random victim could be targeted. Then, on April 18th, employees at a McDonald's in Erie, Pennsylvania recognized Stevens and contacted authorities. State police quickly located his vehicle. A pursuit began, but it didn't last long. According to investigators, Stephen took his own life as officers closed in on him, ending the manhunt. For the family of Robert Godwin Sr., however, the nightmare was only beginning. Not only had they lost a beloved father and grandfather, but the crime had been viewed by countless strangers online. Many family members learned details of the murder through news reports and social media posts. The case sparked intense debate about the responsibility of social media companies. People questioned how quickly violent content should be removed. Others wondered whether platforms were prepared for users who intentionally uploaded evidence of serious crimes. Years later, the murder of Robert Godwin Sr. remains one of the most infamous crimes ever associated with social media. Not because it was live streamed, but because it was demonstrated how quickly a violent act could be recorded, uploaded, and seen by millions of people around the world. A man who spent Easter Sunday taking a simple walk became the victim of a complete stranger seeking notoriety. And thanks to the internet, the evidence of that senseless crime spread across the globe within minutes. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying crimes aren't committed in secret. Sometimes they're committed with an audience waiting on the other side of the screen. Most live stream crimes happen because someone intentionally decides to broadcast violence. The camera wasn't focused on creating content. It just happened to be recording when a family dispute turned deadly. And because of that, countless people witnessed a murder unfold in real time. On the night of June 16, 2025, tensions were already running high in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. According to investigators and family members, a dispute involving multiple relatives had been escalating before the violence erupted. What happened next was captured on a Facebook live stream being recorded near the scene. The victim was Ashley Hudson, a 30-year-old mother of 4. Family members later said the argument has spilled into the streets near North Martin Luther King Drive and West Violette Street. As viewers watched the live stream, a confrontation unfolded. Then gunfire erupted. Hudson was struck multiple times. Witnesses later described hearing her plead for her life moments before the shooting. The live stream captured the chaos as people scattered from the area and the broadcast quickly spread online. Police responding to the scene found Hudson suffering from fatal gunshot wounds, and she was pronounced dead shortly after. For Hudson's family, the horror wasn't limited to the loss itself. Some relatives first learned what had happened by seeing clips of the incident circulating on social media. Her cousin later described the experience of waking up and discovering that a loved one's final moments had been broadcast online for strangers to watch. As investigators began piecing together the events of that night, arrests quickly came. Milwaukee police took 3 relatives into custody: a 15-year-old boy, a 16-year-old girl, and a 21-year-old woman. Authorities stated that the shooting stemmed from a family dispute, though investigators continued working to determine each person's role in the killing. The case shocked residents throughout Milwaukee, not only because of the violence itself, but because the crime highlighted how ordinary social media broadcasts can suddenly become evidence in a homicide investigation. Unlike a planned livestream intended to gain attention, this video appeared to capture a real-world tragedy as it happened. For detectives, the footage provided valuable information about the timeline of events. For the public, it served as another disturbing reminder that nearly every moment of modern life can be recorded. And for Ashley Hudson's loved ones, it became something far worse: a permanent digital record of a tragedy they wished had never occurred. Today, the Milwaukee Facebook Live shooting remains one of the most chilling examples of how social media can transform ordinary witnesses into unwilling viewers of a violent crime. A family argument, a live stream running in the background, and a murder that unfolded in front of anyone unlucky enough to be watching. The cases we covered tonight reveal something unsettling about the modern world. For most of our human history, crimes happened in private. Today, they can unfold in front of audiences numbering in the thousands. Sometimes viewers become witnesses. Sometimes they become the evidence. And sometimes they become the last people to ever see a victim alive. As technology continues to evolve, one thing remains certain: the internet never forgets, and some live streams leave behind evidence that can haunt investigators, families, and viewers for years. If you enjoyed this countdown, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which true crime case you think deserves to be covered next.